Hello, I'm M. Jason Graham, and this is Writing. Now that we've completed the chapter on character relationships, we are moving full force into story, the blueprint. But there are a few basic things that you need to know before we're able to start an outline. So I'm going to go over some basic terminology for the next couple of weeks. Don't worry, it's fairly easy. And of course, if you're a note taker, you can just, of course, run back through the videos. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have as well. Just email me or go to the website. So, today we're going to talk about action. So, what is action? Action is any element that advances emotional movement within a story. So, this is very important. We talked about conflict yesterday or the day before, and I cannot stress that enough. If what's happening in your story is not moving characters emotionally toward their end, toward their goal, toward a decision that they're being made from moment to moment, there's no reason to have it in your story. It does nothing except slow things down, and worse, it can confuse people. So then what is the purpose of action, which is our next question here. The purpose of action is to connect the purpose and expectation of the story to the audience. Makes sense, right? You want them to know fully that not only what your message is, but for them to connect to it. When we look at Black Panther and when we look at Infinity War, someone pointed out to me that there's a good argument for Thanos being the protagonist in Infinity War. And I have a hard time arguing that because by far he has the largest arc of all of the characters. Now, that being said, it's not as large an arc as T'Challa or Killmonger had in Black Panther, but it still is there. So any action that is extraneous to that or not a part of that journey for him pulls us out of it. And so Infinity War, there's a lot of things that come into play, things behind the camera, things in offices, things that have nothing to do with the story. So that there were many things that needed to be included in that film that, in my humble opinion, slowed down connecting the audience to the message. Honestly, I hear more people talk about how cool it is more than what Thanos was trying to do. It just you have to. Everything is sublimated to story. Period. Nothing is more important than story. So then, what are the different types of action then? So we have two types of action. We have character action and we have story action. So character action is one character's response to an event that has impacted his or her life. So it doesn't matter if that event occurred 20 years ago. It doesn't matter if that event occurred in the previous scene. Characters, and just like people as well, we are constantly responding and reacting to different stimuli because of our previous experience. That's how you help the character to be relatable and make it easier for the audience to connect with the character, thereby connecting with the message and the purpose and expectation. So then, if that's character action, then what is story action? So story action is a group of character interactions that lead to the achievement of one character's ambition. So, it's what we call a story action. Now, notice that I said a group of character actions, or interactions as it were. So, and we'll get more into interaction actually later this week. But the thing is that nothing happens in a bubble. And even if you create a story that has these main characters and then these secondary foils, and then You have the guy that runs the deli that the character goes to get his Cuban sandwich. And he does nothing except get the character a Cuban sandwich. Those are all characters that are doing things that your character has to respond to. Everybody's responding to everybody else. In the case of story action, it's not necessarily seen by the audience who is doing what. And that's the thing that has to be taken into account. You don't have to show all of your cards. Things have to make sense, though. And so you have to show enough for the audience to connect and understand what is going on. That's the rub. So, we are looking at what action is. And we're going to talk about emotional continuity because it's based on emotional movement. We talked about emotion yesterday. It is all about getting the audience to connect with the character. And if you can do that for someone who is reading your story, then it makes it much easier. For instance, if you're writing a script, it makes it much easier for the department heads that are investing in this film. Hell, even the development people who read your script, who you're trying to sell a script to, a spec script to, it makes it easier for them to connect to it in order to get the ball rolling. Because it's all about what is on the page. If what is on the page doesn't translate the way that you want it to translate or how you see it, then it doesn't go any further than that. And that's probably the hardest lesson of all that we all have to learn as writers. Well, on Thursday, we will actually talk about character action more specifically. So, I'm M. Jason Graham, and this has been This is Writing. This is Writing is brought to you by mjgstorycreation.com. So go to mjgstorycreation.com and turn your idea into an epic story today. I will see you next time.